Hey, good morning, Wixman Ray. It's February 1st, 2026. Starting a new month. Before you know, it's going to be Christmas again. Hey, I was going to give you a world tour today of the weather. So, what we've got going on, this is northern Australia up in here. I wanted to show you this. We got satellite overlaid, so it looks like there's some storms across northern Australia, probably some thunderstorms. We got some rain up here. This is Darwin. So, yeah. So, very warm in the southern hemisphere. It's the summer right now, middle of summer. So it's hot out there. Very humid. Look at that. It's 82 for the temperature. And it's about 3 o'clock in the morning there. So the middle of the night. So it's warm. And look at that. Dew point 79. So it's very humid. All this whole area is very humid, and that's because you got I don't know what latitude we're at here. Yeah, we're at 12 degrees south, so 12 degrees south at the equator, 130 degrees east longitude. So yeah, we're on the other side of the earth here, down under, as they call it, in Australia. Yeah, but thought I'd show you this. This area, very warm. As you get towards the south, it's in the 50s and 60s. That's because you got the Southern Ocean down here, where that's a colder ocean as you go towards Antarctica. This is the Indian Ocean, and then Pacific Ocean's on this side. Yeah, so that's what's going on there. Yeah, so, oh, I was going to show you Tasmania is down here. About 50 degrees down there, so they're cooler down in Tasmania. If you've ever heard of the Tasmanian devil, I did as a kid, watching the cartoon on Looney Tunes. That's a real animal, if you didn't know that. In fact, I'll show you this here. They are Tasmanian devils, so I was reading up on them. By age 2, they're pretty much full grown. And I think it said they live to be about 5 years old. But they're only the size of a small dog, like a small stocky dog. There they are. Oh, and they are carnivorous, so they're carnivores. And they're marsupials, so they're in the family like the kangaroos, I guess. So, yeah, but that's what they look like. Yeah, and they have a very strong jaws. Yeah, so they devour their prey. I read a little bit about them. Didn't know much about them. In fact, if I go back, there's on this website here, you can kind of see them. I'll show you this. This shows them running around. So yeah, I don't know if those are the small ones, but yeah, they kind of look cute. But I wouldn't want to get bit by one because they have a powerful jaw. They said they're one of the most powerful jaws for an animal their size. So for a mammal. So anyways, just a fun fact there. Oh yeah, I was looking up at the different areas of Australia. I was kind of curious. So yeah, did you know there was 3 deserts in Australia? But anyways, we'll move on here. So yeah, over this way, this is New Zealand over here. This is Auckland. They're sitting at 68 degrees, rainy, a little bit humid there. Farther south, this is Christchurch, New Zealand, in the southern part. So there's a northern and southern part. And this is a very volcanic area, and they have earthquakes. I think several years ago there was a major earthquake around Christchurch. It did some major damage, I believe. But yeah, and this whole area is where they filmed the Lord of the Rings out in this area. I believe there's a tourist area to see the Hobbit houses and that kind of stuff. I would love to go down there, but this is New Zealand. They have very pleasant weather too. It's in the 50s, but it's in the middle of the night out there. And they got some high mountain ranges that run along here. Up in the north, I don't know if they do in the south, they have those volcanic looking, like volcano looking mountains is what I call them. Those, I don't know I can't remember the technical scientific name for them, but yeah, They look like the cones, you know, stick up into the sky. So pretty cool. I'm pretty fascinated by that kind of stuff. Up in this part of the world, this is some island, Norfolk Island. This is, yeah, some other, these are all these islands out here. I think Tahiti, I think this is Tahiti. Yeah, that's Tahiti Island. 75 degrees there. Beautiful place to go visit, I guess. I've never been there. This is Papua New Guinea, I think is how you say it. And then Indonesia's over here. This is Singapore. They're currently at 79 degrees, very humid there. It's a very hot and humid place. So up here is Vietnam. I believe this is, no, that's Hong Kong. That's part of China. I think that's Taiwan right there. Yeah, let's zoom in here. I think this little island is Taiwan. Yeah, that's Taiwan right there. You hear about it in the news. I think this is Thailand over here. What is this? Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that. Ho Chi Minh. Yeah, there's Ho Chi Minh City down there, southern part of Vietnam. Cambodia's right here. So yeah, this whole part of the world is pretty nice in the middle of the night in the 70s. And they're on the other side of the equator, I believe. Yeah, they're 16 degrees north. So, but yeah. I'll take you for a little bit of a world tour. I'll take you up towards Japan. Look at Japan. They're cold this winter up here, 30s and 40s. Is that Tokyo? Yeah, Tokyo is at about 42 degrees, 6 degrees Celsius, 43 actually, Fahrenheit. Over here, this is South Korea. I lived over here for a year when I was in the Air Force. In fact, right here was where I lived. This is Osan Air Base. They are currently 24 degrees and light snow. And this is where Seoul is, the big city. It's a very walkable city. There are millions of people there. But yeah, the areas I saw Seoul were very beautiful. But I hadn't been there since 30 years ago, mid-90s. This is another Air Force base, Kunsan. A lot of times in the winter they'll get, it's called sea effect snow, so it's like the lake effects, but the cold winds will come off from this direction and they'll give them snow because they kind of jut out here because this is the sea out here. I forget the name of the sea out there. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's South Korea. North Korea is up here, so you don't get not seeing a lot of weather reports out of there, so hiding it from us, I guess. I don't know. So anyways, yeah. But it's cold up there. It's winter. Out in China, cold. Up in the northern part of China is in the 20s and teens. The southern part, it gets warm down here. Look at that, 60s near Hong Kong. I think that was Hong Kong. Yeah. I'm jabbering here about this. I think that's Mongolia there. They're cold, minus 15. A little fun fact, I can't remember what time of the year it was, but you'd get some really strong winds that come across Mongolia, and it would kick up dust, and I guess it was a yellowish color, so they called it the yellow dust, and it would come over South Korea. And so, yeah, it was the yellow dust. I think it actually, I saw it a couple times, and it actually looked yellowish. So, yeah, so they got a big desert that kicks up dust and carries way across the continent into Korea here. This whole area is basically Siberia in here. Look at that. Up there, minus 44. That's the air temperature. Minus 33. Very cold back here. Yeah, look at that. Minus 35. Surgut. I guess that's how you say it. Oh, this is all Russia. Very cold. Going back towards Europe. Well, I guess I gotta go this way. It doesn't like that. Up in Alaska, hey, that's Fairbanks, minus 13, 17 degrees in Anchorage. This is Juneau. Yeah, Juneau's always relatively warmer because they've got the influence of the ocean. This is basically a rainforest, and it's very wet. You get all these storms that come off the Pacific, and yeah, very much a lot wetter than even Seattle. But yeah, But Juneau can get some copious amounts of snow. Look, I mean, right now it's 33 degrees and it's raining, but they can get a lot of snow out there. In fact, they're landlocked. You can drive in a car, but basically just around the town. It's surrounded by mountains and glaciers, and then you got the ocean out here and water. So people use boats and ferries, I guess, to get around up here. Yeah. So, anyways, that's stuff. We'll come back to the U.S. here in a minute. I wanted to show you some other parts of the world. So, yeah, down here, and look at that in Cuba, 57. They got the cold air that even that Florida has. 70s and 80s through, you know, this part of the world and the Caribbean, South America, 80s, 70s, but, you know, you're down near the equator. Yeah. Looks like they got some storms in this area and over here. So, yeah. Yeah, Bogota. I've been down to Bogota. I think this is Colombia. Is this the country or what? I can't remember. I think that's Bogota. Yeah, and this is Colombia here. I've been there. I think they said about 8,000 feet, but they're always like nice. I mean, right now they're 61. They're always like in the 60s. Maybe they get in the 70s, but because of their high elevation, I think they're at 8,000 feet. But yeah, I don't know if it says on here. No, it doesn't. But they sit up pretty high. So even though they're near the equator, because they're at like 5 degrees, I believe that's north latitude. Yeah, north of the equator. They're very, very mild because of their high elevation. Yeah, so fun facts about that. You got Africa over here. It's warm. Look at that, 99 there. 97 out in the, you know, middle of, and very dry. Look at that. Wow. Dew points are 16. It's like the desert air is coming out over them. Yeah. Then you got the Middle East out here. Pretty warm. Looks like 70s and 80s. I believe it's daytime over there, but probably afternoon or evening by now. Probably evening. I don't know. I'm guessing. I know this area is probably about, what, 4 hours ahead of the East Coast, which, what are they? Yeah, this is probably early afternoon out in Europe. But, yeah, so it's just some quick looks around here in the 40s up in England. I think that's London, Heathrow, yeah. 48 degrees. It's always raining up there. This is where I used to live. I lived down here in Germany at Simbach Air Base, somewhere in this area. This is up by Frankfurt, and this is Saarbrücken. Yeah, so they're in the 40s. It's winter over there. The winters over there are they're usually pretty mild. They can get snow, especially in the terrain, but they have the influence of the Atlantic here, and the Gulf Stream kind of rides up. I can kind of show you here. The Gulf Stream kind of rides up here and comes up and over. I think it goes way up here, but I mean, it modifies because you got cold ocean up in here, because that's Greenland up here. So, yeah. So, anyways, just a world tour up in, this is Norway in the 20s and teens, some light snow. This is Sweden, cold, 19. Negatives up in Finland. So, yeah, it's cold over there. Yeah. Over in Poland, teens, 20s, northern Germany, looks like. Yeah, it's cold up there. Up in Denmark in the 20s. Yeah, so there's your world tour. I'll come back to the U.S. now, back home. The main thing I'm going to show you here is, man, look at these temperatures. Tallahassee, Jacksonville, and it's what, 11 o'clock in the morning now out there? They're in the low 30s. Look at that, Tampa's 39, 43 in Miami. Look at a few others. I mean, yeah, it's in the low 40s in South Florida, 54 in Key West. Looks like there's some rain showers around there too. And then, yeah, mid-30s. Yeah, look at that Orlando, man. If you're at Disney World, man, you're freezing. It's 33 degrees. And the winds are blowing about 25, 30 miles an hour out there. So I got some wind chill going on, probably down into the 20s or teens in that range. Very cold. Yeah, watch out, man. Those orange crops, I don't know if they're going to survive that cold temperatures. I don't know how they protect them, but yeah. So, yeah, even the Bahamas. I mean, look at this, 45 over there in Freeport. I guess that's the name of that place. Nassau. They're at they're at 54. So, I mean, if you were going on a vacation over here now, you're in the wintry weather. I mean, 50s is it's cool for that part of the world. So, yeah, I wanted to show you this. The weather's pretty quiet for the week, but where am I at here? Yeah, the snow reports. I mean, look at this. Oh my gosh. I was shocked at how much snow they got. This is like North Carolina. This is out near that coast where we saw those heavier bins. Man, they got over a foot of snow. I mean, there's some 19, 17 inches. This whole area had like generally 12 to 18 inches of snow. This is out what, kind of east of Goldsboro? Is that the name of the town over there? Anyways, yeah, I think, is this where, yeah, anyways, yeah, a lot of snow, 10 inches up there. Farther north, southern Virginia, they got, a couple inches, 2 to 4. Looks like over by Norfolk, yeah, they had about 2 inches. That's out by the ocean, man. Look at that. Virginia Beach had 3 inches. Wow. Amazing. As you get closer to the mountains back here, they had over a foot, 12 to, I see some 16s in there. Some areas just under a foot. So they got a lot of snow out there. Even looking down here to, like, where is this? Florence. Well, they had some 8s in there. A lot of snow. This is over towards, this is Columbia. Yeah, they had, what, 3, 4, 5 inches, almost 6 inches in spots. Very unusual for that part of the world. I mean, down here, what part, what is this? I'm trying to get okay, Charleston. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Inch or 2 down there. Wow. 3 inches up north of them. Yeah, I've been down in that area. Hilton Head, I've been there. 2 inches down by Hilton Head. Wow. I've been down to that beach. Pretty area. Very expensive, though, relatively. But, yeah, 1 to 3 inches down through this part of just north of Savannah. A lot of snow. As we head up, I wanted to show you this. Up by Augusta, my daughter used to live over here in this area. Man, 5.5 inches in Grovetown, almost 6 inches. 3.5 in here. Yeah, so they had 3 to 5, almost 6 inches. And across eastern Georgia over here. Look at this, mostly east of Atlanta. Look at that, 3, 6, 5, 6. Bunch of snow out here, yeah. Yeah, so it snowed pretty good out through there, that whole area. So those winter storm warnings were definitely warranted. So if you're out there, stay warm and stay safe, and probably stay off the roads until they get cleared up and stuff. So yeah, okay. Let me just show you one other thing here. We'll just quickly go through the forecast. If I can find my chart here, where'd I put it? Oh, I moved it. I got to click on it. I was looking at if there was any tropical cyclones out there. There's really not much. I think there's one down by Madagascar maybe, but I forgot to show you that, but that's okay. Yeah, so this is basically right about now. You can see the storm pulled offshore. They're left with some breezy, windy conditions across this area with some cold air, like I showed you. I didn't show you the temperatures up here, but they're in the 20s and teens. This whole part of from basically about this general area is cold. As you get kind of east or west of here, it's milder. So little clipper system, some light snow. I saw there was a couple inches, I believe. In fact, let's go back to the map from over the last 24 hours. Yeah, up in Minnesota, they had a couple inches, 1 to 3 generally. So nothing too crazy for that part of the world. Yeah, some 1s, ½ inch, up to 1 inch across the Dakotas. So yeah, just some minor accumulations up there. Where was I? Okay, I keep getting lost. So yeah, okay, man, I'm having issues today. Okay, time to go back to bed, I guess. Okay, so this is, yeah, this is basically now. So as we scroll through time, going through tonight and tomorrow, that little clipper goes across the Great Lakes. That's been the story the last couple of weeks, little clippers, and then you get some lake effect. On the backside is the cold air, and as long as the winds orient right and the cold air orients right over the, they don't look too significant, the lake effects, maybe some light lake effects in areas, but yeah. And then we got that storm we talked about yesterday developing on Tuesday from Texas, northeast Texas, up into the parts of Tennessee and Kentucky, southern Illinois. The northern fringe will get a little bit of light snow, maybe an inch or two, couple inches. But through the day, as we go through Wednesday, that's going to press east and south and east. We got some rain across the southeast again, so rain on top of whatever snow is probably left on the ground with all that snow. That's probably going to be rain on top of snow, because I'm sure it's not going to melt in a couple days, that 12 to 18 inches. But anyways, yeah, the rain kind of goes south, another front goes through Florida. This one won't be as cold, it's a little milder. Yeah, by midweek, by about this time, they're getting closer to normal. They'll probably still be still a little bit below normal across the southeast and Florida. But and then it kind of starts to warm up, and as we go towards next weekend, this is by Saturday night. So yeah, really no big storms, and yeah, through next weekend. So looks like some snow breaks out up here in parts of the plains, northern central plains. Yeah, back west, pretty quiet. I'm going back here for you, just so you can see. It's going to be wet up around the Pacific Northwest through Tuesday. Starts to dry out during the day on Tuesday. Looks like Wednesday. Yeah, so it'll dry out up there. Maybe another little weak system. So they'll kind of get the occasional spouts of rain up in the Pacific Northwest with some, times of drying out. So I don't see anything on the horizon. Looks like nothing for California right now. Showing a little bit of spotty precip down in here towards the end of the week. Maybe there's a weak system, but nothing too major. So yeah, that's really what's going on. Anyways, hope you have a great day. I rambled on here a little bit longer, but I wanted to show you some of the worldwide weather and some interesting facts, I guess. Anyways, oh, one other thing I wanted to show you while I'm jabbering. Where is it? Back here, I forgot to show you something in Australia that was interesting. So we have a solar observatory. There's actually a solar observatory over here on the western side on the coast. It's called Learmont. I'm sure there's probably Australians there. I don't know the whole history, but we do have a U.S. Air Force detachment down there. It's part of the weather people, actually. It's kind of a separate career field, as you may call it, where they get specially trained in solar weather. They call it solar weather, I guess. So, but anyways, yeah, there's a solar observatory. So I always thought that'd be cool to live out in that part of Australia. Never went there, but I wasn't part of that group. They have 5 solar observatories across the world. The other ones are over. There's one in San Vito, Italy. I think that's up in the northern part of Italy, somewhere over here. There's one in Holloman. That one's actually up in the mountains, because that's where I grew up in Alamogordo. It's called Sunspot. It's up in the mountains, and they have a big solar observatory up there. On a clear day, which is most days in Alamogordo, you can see the big white telescope sitting up on the top of the mountain. So, yeah. And then there's I think one in Massachusetts, and then there's one in Hawaii, and there's another one in the U.S. Can't remember where. Anyways, I'm jabbering on. So, hey, have a great day. Appreciate you watching, and hopefully we got some people maybe from Australia, New Zealand, or other parts of the world that'll join in and watch our channel. We're not just going to be about the U.S. Sometimes we'll show you other stuff. So, hey, this is Wixman Ray out.